Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another compilation made-up album type thing. These started with Black Sabbath when I did what I said, is this the perfect Black Sabbath compilation? And the rules are simple. I could pick 5 tracks for 2 sides of a single vinyl album. Just 5 tracks, so 10 in total, a single vinyl album. So no cheating with like, oh, the CD version's got an extra 3 tracks, or it's a double album. So really being strict that I can only pick 10 songs, and it was for the Black Sabbath in the 70s, which made it a little bit easier, but so many of you joined in to try and pick your 10 as well. And some of you did end up doing double albums and saying, I'm bubbling under was another 15. And I've done a Deep Purple one as well, which is coming online soon, or it might already be here by the time you see this. Probably will be, won't it? This is Sabbath related, and it's because at the time when we're doing this, Black Sabbath are everywhere doing their, Ozzy saying goodbye and retiring from the music business. But this one I put together with the basis of trying to think of 10 tracks that represent Tony Iommi as a lead guitarist during this period. So I'll do another one that covers different eras of Black Sabbath, but this one is just the Ozzy years and 10 songs that represent Tony Iommi's lead guitar playing primarily, although obviously the riffage, because he is the riffmeister, is also in there as well. I also tried my hardest not to duplicate any of the tracks that I picked now in the previous video. I 90% succeeded. And as I was actually doing this video before this version, I realized that one of the tracks had actually popped in again, and I tried my best to think of an alternative and realized that in this case, in this one singular case, I cannot. Not only is it one of my favorite Black Sabbath songs, it is the finest example of Iommi's lead playing in existence, so it had to be on here. So there is one duplicate. Can you guess what it is? Anyway, what is track 1, side 1 on my best of Tony Iommi in the 70s? It's from Sabotage, 1975. What a glorious album this is. And for those of you out there that go, oh God, what a cover. I love that cover. I absolutely love that cover, me. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Have I got one to hold up around me? Yes, I have. I think it's brilliant. And I think it's brilliant because that's a rock band, that is. That's a rock band not looking like anyone else on planet Earth. Heavy metal now looks like heavy metal now. You can just... There's a uniform to heavy metal. There wasn't then. This is Black Sabbath. No one else looked like that. And for those of you going, I'm not surprised, no one else looked like that. Can you imagine them walking into a pub like that? You'd be nervous, wouldn't you? Walking on stage like that. This is a rock band. This is a rock band made up of 4 individuals, completely in control of who they are and what they want to look like and what they represent. I think it's fantastic. Geezer Butler, white strides, umbrella, nice, dainty blue jacket. Brilliant. Tony Iommi, just getting ready to serve it. It's his Italian restaurant, superb. Or maybe he's working in a hair salon. Who cares? And Bill Ward, leather jacket, wife's tights. And Ozzy, kimono, my house. Nice platform boots. Probably bought that from the Bullring in Birmingham at the time. The shop that sold all that kind of Japanese stuff with the biggest crucifix you've ever seen. I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, sorry, I'm on topic already. What track have I picked? I could have picked many, couldn't I? But remember, some are already on the other album. I'm going to go for Thrill of It All, side 1, track 1 of the best of Tony Iommi. Why? The way it starts is kind of throws you off the scent. You've got this kind of really melodic, ethereal chords. It's really grand. It's cathedral-like, and nice lead lines that come in as it speeds up, and you just think, this is where this song's going. I know what this song's going to be like. And then boom, we're pulled down to this riff that sits there like under literally a magnifying glass on the hottest of summer nights, and it's just burns into you, and it's. I got a friend. I was at college when this came out, and my mate was not into Sabbath at all, and he heard this song and the way it went into this riff, and he said, God, that's so Sabbath, isn't it? It's so Sabbath, and it is so Sabbath, and you've got that kind of slapback echo on the snare drum, and Ozzy's vocal delivery. This is one of the, all those semitones just stuck to each other as they slide briefly up and down the fretboard. Just one of the best riffs. And we go around that, don't we? And then we just come back to that beginning section, and we're off in this completely change of mood, of change of emotions, and the melody and the melodic guitar lines come flooding in, all the little triplets and the grand kind of keyboards and stuff laying on. It's just absolutely immense. And it could just go on and on and on. It's just joyous. And it just feels like Iommi's playing his heart out and having such a wonderful time. It's great. I mean, the whole of Sabotage has got to be one of the best hard rock metal albums of all time. But this track is the one I was playing. I played the album the other day, and I thought, no, it's got to be that one. It's got to be that one. It really shows off Tony Iommi's light and shade, his sense of pace and melody. Brilliant. So that is track 1, side 1. Track 2, side 1, I've talked about before. It was on the other one. I'm sorry, but I could not have this on there. You Won't Change Me from Technical Ecstasy 1976, a year later. I tried not to put this on, but I can't. Because not only is it emotionally charged lyrically, but I think because of that, Iommi, whatever's going on, the struggles he was having to try to keep everything together, he's soloing on this track. It's like you've got the best water feature in your garden, and you've just turned the tap on the very top, and all the notes, the water comes trickling down, finding its path down all the little ridgeways and valleyways across your little rocks and things. That to me is Tony Iommi's guitar notes flooding off that neck of that SG and out of your heart, out from his into yours, into your ears, into your soul as you listen to it, and you just connect those guitar notes to each word that Ozzy sings previously in the verse before the guitar comes in, and it just absolutely pushes you back into your seat. And if you were thinking of getting up to make a cup of tea or go and do something else or check your phone, you don't, because Iommi is playing a guitar solo in You Won't Change Me, and You Won't Change Me. Absolutely laser focused. Brilliant. That is track 2, side 1 of the best of Tony Iommi. So what is number 3? Number 3 is from volume 4, and it is Wheels of Confusion. It's another song that over the years, and there's been a lot of them, has become more and more important to me. And again, in showing you what Iommi can do compositionally, his arrangements, his guitar, his sense of like, there's like, we're going to go faster here, we're going to slow down here, we're going back to the original riff, we're going to bring a bit of keyboards, I'm going to have some singular and doubly track lines, there's going to be all sorts of stuff going on. His vision of not overcrowding things, of letting stuff breathe, of giving himself room to express himself. Now, I play guitar, and when you bend into the notes and you feel the energy in your fingers as you bend that note to the place where you want to take it. I'm saying this because Iommi has thimbles on the end of his, so feeling that is very different for Tony Iommi, and I just think that you don't appreciate just how much feeling he puts in being a blues man, because that's what he is, more than he was a metal man. Just how fantastic this is. But Wheels of Confusion, long ago I wandered through my mind. Wasn't that long ago I did that, actually. Could have been this morning. Anyway, it's an absolutely stunning track. It's an album I play a lot, and it's interesting because it's kind of bookended with It's bookended with wrong one. God, put your glasses on, Phil. Sorry. With Under the Sun, because it has that fast beat halfway through, as does Snowblind and Cornucopia also have that. Yeah, it does those riffs halfway through. It's interesting how where he is in his life as he writes music that he kind of duplicates different things to try things out differently. But Worlds of Confusion, I think, is an epic Black Sabbath song, and that is number 3 on side 1, best of Tony Iommi. Next, as you saw, I lifted up Bloody Sabbath accidentally then, and there was a reason for that, because it's the next track. And it is from Bloody Sabbath, but it can't be that because I've already had that one. Remember, there's only one song that's been duplicated. It is Living for Today. And it's actually called Looking for Today. Now, when I first heard this album in 1973, age 14, I was drawn to the riffs, the power and the vocals of Bloody Sabbath, and National Acrobat, and Killing Yourself to Live. Killing Yourself to Live, of course, was one of my lifelines through the 70s when I was in my apprenticeship. But Looking for Today was, from day one, was one of my favourite tracks because of the guitar solos, but especially the one at the end. I think we have to also give credit here to Ozzy, who Geezer wrote the words, right? But he wrote the words because he had the words in his head. But it was Ozzy who dragged the melody out of the ether, with his genius Beatlesque melodies, that he was able to put a melody over literally anything. And I think this one, Looking for Today, and when we get to the end and Ozzy goes, Looking for Today, and off we go, and the solo comes in. The solo is just incredible. It's well thought out, it's emotional, it's moving, it's exciting, and the vibrato on the strings almost sounds like a tremolo in places. To my younger ears, I was kind of work out, what is he still playing an SG here? What's going on? But I absolutely love Looking for Today. I think it's one of Iommi's. Is it a deep cut? Might be to some people, but I absolutely love that track. Looking for Today from Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Next, we're going back to Technical Ecstasy. Whoa! Technical Ecstasy, 2 of them. Off this album that's usually seen as experimental or when they'd lost the plot. I think whatever was going on at this point, Iommi was channeling his guitar playing in a direction that he'd never taken it to before. And the track here is Dirty Women. In Birmingham, where I'm from, Robin Valk, I think I've mentioned this on another video actually, is we had the rock show on a night. He used to come home from working in factories and sit down and have me tea and everything. And I think he'd done some kind of vote on the most important songs to ever come out of Birmingham, and Dirty Women by Black Sabbath I think got voted number 1, which is such an interesting thing. Lyrically, the storyline is interesting, not the kind of thing you would expect Sabbath to naturally sing about, but musically this song entered their set around this time and basically almost never left. It is a vehicle for Tony Iommi. There are so many different stages on it. I just thought this actually on the moment. It's probably something that no one else will agree with on the whole of the planet. But I was just thinking, the guitar chords, the sequence of guitars here is a bit like David Gilmour's Comfortably Numb, where he just gives him room to just think, I can just stretch out now for as long as I like. This is me. This is my moment. I wonder if Dirty Women was where Tony Iommi thought, yep, this is it. Once Ozzy's got past the last verse, it's all down to me, and then you can all wait for me to go when it's time to come to the end. But I'm just gonna. This is me, and he gets faster, it gets slower, it gets louder, it gets quieter, and it's just completely up to him. But there's some great riffs in here. But it is the guitar playing, and you can sense that his guitar playing has got this new sense of authority, of confidence. I feel. So many tracks on this album, but especially this one, and of course, You Won't Change Me. But Dirty Women closes side 1 of the best of Tony Iommi. On side 2, I am going to open with... What am I going to open with? Ooh, interesting, because I know what I'm going to open with, but I've just suddenly thought of something. No, I'm sticking with it. Sticking with it. I'm going back to volume 4. And that was close. You're thinking, whoa, what was it going to be? Anyway, it's Snowblind. The riff isn't that dissimilar from Wheels Confusion in a way, but it's so Sabbath and it's so Tony Iommi, and it has this section which speeds up, and towards the end we go, lying snowblind in the sun, Ice Age has begun, and then the mellotron kicks in, and then Tony comes in with those double bend notes. Some people might think that's quite simple. I think it's sheer brilliance. It's genius. It's just genius. He doesn't overcrowd it. I know he's done bits when he does over double track guitars, doing slightly different things as he plays with the stereo effect and everything. But this is such a monumental track. And as I said, it's, I'm picking these songs, yes, for the lead work, but also for the way that the song arrangement, the compositional stuff. And I think Snowblind is just timeless. It's one of these songs that I never tire of hearing it. It's just absolutely monumental. So Snowblind is going to open side 2 of my best of Iommi. Track 2 on side 2 is from Master Reality, and it is Sweet Leaf. Sweet Leaf, because that riff is so unusual, so discordant, so not where you would expect the chords to land, and it works so well. And it is this is pure this is heavy metal, a bit like Iron Man was heavy metal, is heavy metal, in that in the songbooks, the Black Sabbath songbooks, and when you look at heavy metal, especially Sabbath, it's just this one page, and because the people transcribing the music just can't be asked, and they must have given the job and said, can you transcribe this Sabbath? Oh, God, have we got to? Yes, it's so people are buying this sheet music. So they would just put guitar riff throughout. And then later on, 8 bars of solo, guitar riff throughout. And Sweet Leaf is one of those. But when it comes into the guitar solo, it's not what you expect, is it? With that absolutely spitfire fast lead break that comes in before Bill Ward comes in with his literally jazz drumming over the top. Just how incredible is that? How unexpected is that? How exciting is that? How Black Sabbath is that? How Black Sabbath is that track? And the imagination of where you just do not know where it's going to go next. And that's what makes it such an amazing track. I picked on my previous video, Into the Void, obviously was there as one of my favourite Black Sabbath songs of all time. But this is about Tony, and I felt that was actually, this had got to be in Sweet Leaf for Master Reality. And the next one, some of you are going to think I've completely left planet Earth, aren't you? That there is a third track from Technical Ecstasy to represent Tony Iommi's finest work in the 70s. What is it? It's Gypsy. Almost as if they've been influenced by Queen. Really? I think so. Isn't this is an amazing song. It's so unusual, but so well produced, isn't it? So You Want to Be a Gypsy, and all the vocal come up behind it. And then there are 2 guitar solos here that follow the same emotive path as You Won't Change Me or Dirty Women or other songs on here. It is literally, going back to your water feature, the notes are just pouring down the side of the mountain. And each one of them, though, they're not falling on waste ground, they're just landing in your heart, one after the other. I just think it's absolutely incredible. I just never tire of this song. The guitar playing on Gypsy from Technical Ecstasy is Tony Iommi on fire. This whole album is on fire. Those of you who've thought that this, because you've read so many other books that go, oh yeah, let's see, it was an experimental album. And I've said this before, when I bought this in Birmingham, everyone I knew was talking about how great it was. Nobody was saying, oh, they've lost the plot, or everybody loved this. I don't know where all that came from, because I can tell you, all of us that bought this, we carried it under our arm with pride. Sabbath. No, honestly, the Gypsy, listen to that solo. The whole song, the production, everything. Bill Ward's drumming. Ozzy's lyrics, vocal delivery, the melody he picks out the air. Brilliant. But Iommi is on fire. There are 2 to go. And there isn't another one from Technical Ecstasy, in case you're thinking there is. It's from Paranoid, right? It's from Paranoid, and I did put out a YouTube short and ask people which track would you pick that represents Tony Iommi the most. And amazingly, literally everybody picked the same one that I'm about to pick. Some people pick War Pigs, but I've already had that. But again, I have broke that rule once, but I'm not picking that one. And there was a few for Electric Funeral, even Rat Salad, interestingly enough. But no, it's Fairies Wear Boots. Fairies Wear Boots is such a clever song, great blues jazz number, and that's what it is, blues jazz shuffle. But it features some amazing guitar playing, some absolutely stunning lead work. Fairies Wear Boots, I love the lyrics. I know obviously it's about being chased down the street by skinheads and stuff, but I didn't know that for years, and I just thought it was really surreal. Fairies Wear Boots, and you better believe it. It was kind of like I went to the doctor to see what he could give me. I liked the idea of being a bit unusual. I liked the idea of my mum and dad listening to what I was listening to, thinking a bit worried about how I feel. Don't know where he's heading. I just love that this kind of mysterious stuff. I listen to Black Sabbath, me. I'm not listening to whatever's in the top 20. What top 20? Who needs a top 20? This is Sabbath, Fairies Wear Boots, and you better believe it. But I think it's absolutely incredible guitar playing, and it ends track 2 on Paranoid, and it's a great track, and it's the last but one track here on my compilation for the best of Tony Iommi. So what is track 5 on side 2 on my compilation? Am I going to pick the title song, Black Sabbath, by Black Sabbath, from the album Black Sabbath? I couldn't I? Because that riff invented Tony Iommi as a guitarist, invented a lot of things. But I decided no. I wanted to pick something that really showed him off to where he was coming from and to where he was going to go at a time when other guitarists were starting to meander towards this thing about saying, this will just be me now for a bit, so just keep the tape rolling. Whether it was Jimmy Page at those little sections in Heartbreaker or A Whole Lot of Love, or Richie thinking about doing similar things or whatever. No, the track is The Warning. And I feel that this takes us back to the beginning, so I put it on the last track on side 2, because this is a long song, but it is basically a vehicle for Iommi. And you can almost imagine him turning the pages of his notebook going, right, now I go to this riff, and now I do this section, and now I do this bit. You can imagine it's all being put together through months and months of live work and live gigs, and they've remembered it, and it's basically what they normally do. But it really captures, again, his blues roots. All the guitarists from this period were raised on the blues. A lot of guitarists now have been raised on metal and have lost, not all of them, I'm generalising, aren't I? So, bear with me. But if you just listen to metal, then it's very kind of angular. It doesn't have room. It's hemmed in a way. You can't go over there because you belong in here. This kind of guitar playing, when this is the birth of heavy metal, if you want to look at it, if Iommi wanted to go over there for a bit, he could, and no one could tell him he couldn't. If he wanted to go over there, he did. And so you have these blues riffs, and there's a riff in here that's taken straight from Spoonful, from Fresh Cream, isn't there? It's straight out of it. Or in fact, it's prior to that as well, isn't it? I think it's from John Mayall's Blues Breakers, the Beano album cover. There's a track that is taken straight from it. And it's blues, and then Bill Ward is playing jazz. He's playing jazz drumming over the top of it. But the way that they go through all these different sections, and then the kind of the finger picking bits, and the kind of, and that bit when there's a bit when it stops, isn't there? And you can almost feel the click as Iommi puts his foot down on the fuzz pedal, probably a colour sound fuzz box, isn't it? I imagine. And it clicks, and you can't. I can almost hear it in my mind's eye, click. And then he just goes boom, and it comes into the riff before it comes in, and that is just amazing. That is just amazing. They did all of this in a few hours, the whole thing in a few hours. But to do this, imagine the pressure as a guitarist, and they're just sitting behind the desk, and they're going, "Well, we've got an hour left. Can you do it?" And Iommi going, "Yep, I can do that." It's just so many emotional bits that in this song, and Ozzy tries, he hasn't quite worked out where to come in to get the right note for his vocals on this, just a little bit too strong, but the guitar playing, it's so bluesy. It's got all the trademarks of Iommi, what's going to be the future metal god of Sabbath. It's got everything. It's a great way to finish, and so I will. So that is last track on side 2 of the best of Tony Iommi in the 70s with Black Sabbath. So what 10 tracks would you pick? Let me know in the comments. Try not to duplicate the ones you picked before, but obviously I cheated by having one, so I'll let you have that. But it's only 10 tracks. It's not a double album. Yeah, I know CDs hold more tracks, but you can't have any extras. So just those 10 tracks. Let me know. It'd be great to know what you think. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please remember that music is the healer and the doctor. Please subscribe, ring that little bell. Visit the website at nowspinning.co.uk. You can join our Facebook group, and you can join our WhatsApp groups if you become a patron or a YouTube member. And plus, you'll also get invited to our twice monthly pub called the Now Spinning Arms, where we meet via Zoom to just talk about music. So take care, all of you. Keep spinning those discs, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.